The Struggles of Our Life, a Lesson in Resilience. In a peaceful village nestled at the foot of towering mountains, a young woman named Alara finds herself overwhelmed by the relentless challenges of life. Once full of joy and optimism, Alara now struggles to find hope as one problem after another weighs her down. Desperate for answers, she turns to her wise father, who, instead of offering direct advice, begins a mysterious demonstration in the kitchen. What could the boiling pots of potatoes, eggs, and coffee beans possibly teach her about facing life's hardships? Let's dive into this tale to discover the surprising lesson that changes everything for Alara. Strich. Once upon a time, in a village nestled at the foot of majestic mountains and surrounded by verdant fields, there lived a young woman named Alara. The village was a place of simple beauty, where life moved with the rhythm of the seasons, and the people were close-knit and content. Alara had grown up in this peaceful village, where the gentle breeze carried the scent of blooming flowers in the spring and the songs of birds filled the air with joy. From a young age, Alara was known for her bright and cheerful disposition. Her eyes sparkled with dreams and hopes for the future, and her laughter was infectious, bringing joy to those around her. She was the kind of person who always saw the good in every situation and believed that life would be as kind and gentle as the village she called home. As she grew older, Alara's life seemed to follow the path she had imagined. She was loved by her family, cherished by her friends, and admired by the villagers. She had dreams of exploring the world beyond the mountains, of discovering new places, and of experiencing the wonders that lay beyond the horizon. But as the years passed, life began to present Alara with challenges she had never anticipated. It all started with small, seemingly insignificant problems: a misunderstanding with a friend, a failed attempt at a new skill, or a day when nothing seemed to go right. At first, Alara brushed these off with her usual optimism, believing that they were just minor setbacks. However, as time went on, the challenges grew more significant and more frequent. No matter how hard she tried to overcome one problem, another one would arise, sometimes even more daunting than the last. Alara's once boundless optimism began to wane. The struggles she faced seemed relentless, and she began to feel overwhelmed by the weight of her responsibilities. She worked tirelessly to keep up with the demands of life, but the constant battles left her exhausted, both physically and emotionally. Her once radiant smile became rare, and her laughter, which had always been a source of comfort to those around her, was now tinged with bitterness. As the struggles in her life continued to mount, Alara found herself at a crossroads. She felt like she was caught in a storm, with no shelter or reprieve in sight. Every time she thought she had found a solution to a problem, another challenge would appear, leaving her feeling defeated and disheartened. It was as if life had conspired to test her limits, to push her to the brink of despair. One evening, after a particularly difficult day, Alara could no longer bear the burden of her struggles alone. She decided to visit her father, Marcus, who was a renowned chef in the village. Marcus was known not only for his culinary skills but also for his wisdom and kindness. He had always been a pillar of strength for Alara, offering guidance and comfort whenever she needed it. As Alara entered the cozy kitchen of their family home, she found her father preparing a meal, his movements calm and deliberate. The kitchen was filled with the comforting aroma of herbs and spices, and the warmth of the fire in the hearth made the room feel like a haven from the outside world. Alara sat down at the wooden table, her heart heavy with the weight of her worries. "Father," she began, her voice trembling with emotion, "I don't know how much more of this I can take. It feels like my life has become a series of never-ending struggles. No matter what I do, I can't seem to escape the problems that keep coming my way. I'm tired of fighting all the time. Why does life have to be so hard?" Marcus paused in his work and turned to look at his daughter, his eyes filled with understanding and concern. He could see the exhaustion etched on her face, the weariness in her eyes, and he knew that she was at a breaking point. He also knew that words alone would not be enough to ease her burden. After a moment of contemplation, Marcus smiled gently at Alara and said, "My dear, I understand how you feel. Life can be difficult, and the challenges we face can sometimes seem overwhelming. But I want to show you something that might help you see things differently. Come with me to the kitchen." Elara was curious, but still heavy-hearted as she followed her father to the kitchen. She watched as Marcus filled 3 pots with water and placed each on a high fire. He remained silent as the water in each pot began to heat up, the flames dancing beneath them. Elara, who had always found comfort in the familiar sights and sounds of the kitchen, felt a sense of unease as she wondered what her father was doing. After a few minutes, the water in the pots started to boil. Marcus carefully selected 3 different ingredients from the pantry: a handful of potatoes, some eggs, and a scoop of ground coffee beans. Without a word, he placed the potatoes in the first pot, the eggs in the second, and the coffee beans in the third. Elara watched in silence as her father calmly let the 3 pots boil, the steam rising in wisps above them. The sound of the bubbling water filled the kitchen, and the minutes seemed to stretch on. Elara's impatience grew as the time passed, but she knew better than to interrupt her father. She trusted that there was a purpose to this unusual demonstration, even if she didn't yet understand it. After about 20 minutes, Marcus turned off the burners. He carefully took the potatoes out of the first pot and placed them in a bowl. He then removed the eggs from the second pot and placed them in another bowl. Finally, he ladled the coffee from the third pot into a cup, its rich aroma filling the kitchen. He turned to Elara, his expression kind but serious. "Daughter," he said, "what do you see before you?" Elara looked at the items laid out on the table, potatoes, eggs, and coffee, and answered somewhat hastily, "Potatoes, eggs, and coffee." Marcus nodded, acknowledging her response, but he encouraged her to look closer. "Touch the potatoes," he instructed. Elara reached out and touched the potatoes. They were soft, and when she pressed them lightly, they yielded to her touch, almost crumbling under her fingers. She noticed how different they felt from the firm, solid potatoes that had gone into the pot. "Now, take an egg and break it," Marcus continued. Elara did as she was told, cracking the shell and peeling it away to reveal a hard-boiled egg. She examined it curiously, noting how firm and solid the egg had become. The once delicate and fragile egg had transformed into something that was now resilient and tough. Finally, Marcus gestured toward the cup of coffee. "Now, take a sip of the coffee." Elara picked up the cup, its rich aroma enveloping her senses. She took a small sip, savoring the warmth and the deep, complex flavor that lingered on her tongue. The bitterness of the coffee was balanced by a subtle sweetness, and the taste brought a slight smile to her lips. "Father, what does this mean?" she asked, her curiosity piqued. Marcus smiled, pleased that she had asked the question. "Elara, each of these items faced the same adversity, the boiling water. However, each reacted differently. The potato went in strong, hard, and unrelenting, but after being exposed to the boiling water, it became soft and weak. The egg was fragile, with a thin outer shell protecting its liquid interior. But after being in the boiling water, the inside became hard. However, the ground coffee beans were unique. After they were exposed to the boiling water, they changed the water itself and created something entirely new." Elara listened intently, beginning to understand the metaphor her father was presenting. But she needed to hear the full explanation. Marcus continued, "Life will always bring us challenges, Elara. Sometimes they will be difficult, even painful, just like the boiling water. But what truly matters is how we respond to these challenges. Are we like the potato, strong at first but becoming soft and weak when faced with difficulty? Are we like the egg, starting out fragile but becoming hardened and unyielding after adversity? Or are we like the coffee beans, transforming our surroundings and making something positive out of the struggles we endure?" Elara's eyes widened as the lesson sank in. She realized that she had been reacting to her problems like the potato, allowing them to weaken her spirit. Or at times, she had been like the egg, letting the hardships make her heart hard and unfeeling. But what if she could be like the coffee beans? What if she could face her struggles with resilience, and instead of letting them break her, use them to grow stronger and even bring something good into the world? "Father," she said softly, "I think I understand now. Life will always have its struggles, but it's up to me to choose how I react to them. I can let them defeat me, or I can use them to become stronger and better. Marcus nodded, his eyes shining with pride. Exactly, Elara. Life is not about avoiding challenges or pretending they don't exist. It's about learning, adapting, and finding ways to turn those struggles into opportunities for growth. Remember, you have the power to choose your response to whatever life throws at you. Be like the coffee beans, and make the most of every situation. Elara left her father's kitchen that day with a renewed sense of purpose. She knew that life would continue to present her with difficulties, but she also knew that she had the strength to face them head-on. From that day forward, whenever she encountered a challenge, she would pause and remind herself of the lesson her father had taught her. She would ask herself, am I being a potato, an egg, or a coffee? Commentary. The story of Elara and her father's lesson with the potatoes, eggs, and coffee beans is a metaphor for how we handle the challenges life throws at us. Each item in the story represents a different way people can react to adversity. The potato starts strong but becomes weak, the egg starts fragile but becomes tough, and the coffee beans change their surroundings, making something positive out of a difficult situation. The commentary highlights that while we can't control the difficulties we face, we do have control over how we respond to them. The story encourages us to be like the coffee beans, using our challenges to grow stronger and make something good out of tough situations. It's a reminder that our attitude and resilience can turn hardships into opportunities for personal growth and positive impact. Moral lesson. Life is full of challenges and adversities, but what truly matters is how we choose to respond to them. We can let these struggles weaken us like the potato, harden our hearts like the egg, or we can be like the coffee beans, transforming our hardships into opportunities for growth and positive change. The power to shape our response lies within us, and by embracing resilience and adaptability, we can turn life's difficulties into something beautiful and meaningful. If you enjoyed our content and want to learn more, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us bring you even more great videos. Hit that bell icon to stay updated with our latest uploads, and share with friends who might enjoy our channel too. Thanks for being part of our community. Till the next story drops, be empowered and be blessed. Bye.